Good afternoon from the farmer's garden. I'm one of the farmers and I'm going to show you around the new chicken coop that we just finished building. So what we did was we started with a 18 by 21 carport cover. Hi. No. So that gave us the shell to work with to keep us from having to frame it out. If you follow us on Facebook, you probably saw my post about things being good enough. So we went with the frame that was already pre-made. Then we have sealed off the ends. We've also included a, it'll be a feed room eventually. It's not finished just yet. But I'll show y'all how everything is set up. I'll give you the grand tour. Alright, starting with the inside, we've just used a regular screen door here. But I'll show you around the inside and then we'll go out and walk around and see the outside of it as well. Maybe that's backwards, but that's how we're doing it. Alright, so we have used 3/4 of the carport cover to make our coop. So it's 15, or not quite 15 feet long and 18 feet wide. You can see we've already put in the nest box. We're probably going to be getting another couple of nest boxes here in the next little bit. And then we've also got a roost put in. In a perfect world, these would be more square because chickens don't actually really like to roost on something round. But we had tons of this PVC pipe that was here when we moved in, and we thought, okay, we're just going to use that for now and we can replace it later. So a big roost for them. You can see their feeders are all hanging from the ceiling. What we did is we went in with this paracord and we just attached 5 of them at the ceiling in various places. Obviously we could go back and add more later, but that gives us places. This one is actually waiting for spring for a fly trap, but it gave us places to hang the feeders. We like to use this style of feeder. This one is empty still. We haven't got everybody fully fed yet, but this style of feeder works good. It hangs, and if they try to land on it, it tips enough that they don't stay on it, and that keeps them from sitting there pooping in the feed. And we've got it hung 10 to 12 inches off the ground. That makes it the right height. You can kind of see that one over there compared to the chicken. It makes it the right height for them to reach in to get the food, but without sitting in it, of course, and without mice being able to get to it as easily. So then we've just hung those from wire attached to the paracord. So we've got 4 of those, and we are hoping to put together an automatic water system in the next few weeks. So we don't have that set up yet. So right now we have a swimming pool, and you can see that works just fine for them. Chickens will actually lay just fine if they run out of feed for a day, even if they run out of feed for 2 days. But if they run out of water, they will stop laying almost immediately, especially when it's hot. So water is very important. All right. So as we leave, this will eventually become the feed room. Right now it's just kind of fenced off to keep the goats out of here. So the feed cans will go here. Eventually that will be a solid tin wall and a door from here across. And the feed will be in there, and it'll have a storage area on the top for like our brooder crates and those sort of things that we don't need year round. All right. So that's that. We'll also have a floor in here eventually. Right now we're just going to be putting the feed cans up on the blocks to keep the bottoms from being in the mud. Okay. Thank you. So this is the west end of the coop. Got to go kind of at an angle because of our tree over here. So the west end of the coop, you want to be able to get some light in. Light is very important to chickens for them to be able to lay good. So we tried to keep this end open. So I told you we weren't going to use chicken wire. We did decide to do chicken wire just at the top, just because it was a little bit more lightweight material to try to mess with up there. And the chickens are not going to be up that way. The leghorns do fly, but not often. Once they figure out there's no escape, and we shouldn't have a predator issue up that high either. So this section here is just a shelter area for the goats. This wall will also be tin all the way to the top to give them a wind block. We just have to finish that part. All right, this is the south end. You can see we did tin at the top and tin at the bottom, and then the wire in the middle. Again, that lets air and light through, but also gives them protection. The top protects them some from blowing rain, the bottom from predators. All right, on the east end, Again, we have it open for light to come through, and then tin on the top and bottom for protection. Now the only thing I'm not certain on, chickens do like to lay where it's dark, so hopefully the position of their nest box, see if I can get it where you can see through the wire, hopefully the position of the nest box will be right so that it's not too bright. If it's too dark, they'll start going over there and just laying on the ground under the roost, which obviously leads to much dirtier eggs, so we're going to try to avoid that. And then of course I showed you the other day that the north end is just solid, and there you go. So this whole thing, aside from the kit itself, the kit obviously was new, and the lumber that we used was new. Most of the tin is recycled. In fact, all of it on the sides is recycled. So we tried to kind of keep the cost down on this and make it nice for them. So minimum square foot of space for chickens is like 1.5 square foot per bird. That seems really tight to me. I don't like to keep them that close together. Generally, you would think of that as being like a broiler house, where they're young birds that are just raising up big enough to be slaughtered. So I'd like to give them a little bit more space. With the space that we have, I think we could easily have between 60 and 80 birds fairly comfortably. But honestly, once we start getting close to that 50-ish mark, we'll be looking to add another coop by then. And so I think that's a couple years off. We've got to get these girls making some more money before we can do that. But there you go. That's a tour of our brand new chicken pen. I am so excited about this. I've wanted a nice chicken pen for a while. It's tall enough we can stand up. We're not banging our heads in it, which has been an issue for the last couple of years. It's very secure, so I'm excited about it. So anyways, thank you all for stopping by. Hope you learned a little bit about our chicken pen process. Y'all be sure and like our page, tell your friends about us, and come back when you can stay longer.